Welcome to the Reputronomy podcast. I'm Jeffrey, your host. And in today's episode, I want to paint a picture for you because a lot of business owners going in, especially when they're doing it on their own, they focus on how much money they're spending on their ads, how much money they should put in their ads, and also how much more should they spend on ads. These are three unique scenarios that are quite interesting. But what if I told you the game is different? How much you spend on ads, important. I'm not telling you not to spend money on ads or dictate how much you should. It's all up to you. What I'm advising is, based on what I've seen is happening, a lot of people know where to go when it comes to a business that they're looking for. When they do, they don't know what it is that this business does. And I feel that's where your ad creative comes in. The goal of an ad creative is to promote engagement. You want to engage your audience so that they feel you understand who they are, what they need, and how you can provide solutions to their problems. That's what we call high value content. That's what we want to see more of. That's what we encourage more businesses to put out there. But what we're seeing is ads that don't really connect or resonate to the intended audience, but we're seeing a lot of them. So that means 80% of the budget is being spent on how much, how often, and when we should spend, and not necessarily is this ad actually targeting the users that we're looking for, letting them know that we understand what they need, and portraying how we can provide their solutions to the problems that they have. And I want to use this episode just giving you some pointers, understand how to reverse that. So the first tip, you want to personalize your content. Truly engaging your audience comes down to how detailed your content is. I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you're targeting the user, what they need, and how you can actually provide a solution to their problem. That's step number one. Step number two, you want to make sure that that same ad creative you have is engaging people. Communication is a two-way street. So you don't want to merely speak to your audience. You want to make it a point to actually converse with them. You want to go back and forth. So you want to pose questions. You want to encourage feedback. And you also want to make it a point to respond promptly. In the last episode, I mentioned responding to positive and negative reviews matter. Responding promptly to your Q&A section, your feedback from reviews, all of this is a goldmine. And you want to ensure that timely assistance is always top of mind here. The interactive approach that you want to take is to foster a sense of community where you think a customer walked into your store, they had a question, you meet them right away so they feel seen. That's the goal here. Going into tip number 3, consistency. 1 week, 1 month, you've been consistent with your clients, and then all of a sudden you just disappear. No one sees you. They're asking questions, anticipating your response, and they're getting nothing. That's a horrible way to actually build an audience. Regularity comes with posting content. Regularity comes with the frequency, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. And it's less important about sticking to an actual schedule you've established, but it's also focused about solidifying your brand's image, about how positive you are and what impact you aim to deliver with your messaging. So search engine rankings are looking for people who can respond right away, right? But they're also looking for people who are consistent. So they want to understand whether or not you're someone that they can trust and rely on, and it goes into building credibility with your audience. The fourth tip I have for you, diversify your content. You don't want to limit yourself to just text or images. You want to experiment with different formats. And I know Facebook now has a focus on Reels. YouTube has a focus on stories. You want to focus on these things and incorporate things like infographics, different videos, create podcast content, create interactive ways for them to engage with your business. The variety is key because it keeps your audience engaged, There's always a surprise for them, and they're eagerly looking forward to your next post. And then the final tip, you want to weave in compelling narratives. And by this, look at it this way. People are naturally drawn to stories. Storytelling is an age-old. In fact, that's why many people love Warren Buffett. He is an amazing storyteller. And if you present your message in a narrative format, your audience, they're far more likely to remember your brand, which significantly boosts and helps your brand increase their recall and their loyalty quality. So you want to ensure that people remember your brand easily and they want to stay with your brand. Now, it's very important, almost crucial, to remember that maintaining your online reputation, it's not just about spending your ad budget, but in fact, as we discussed in this episode, you want to ensure that you use the 80-20 rule carefully. 20% of your ad budget, 80% ad creative. It's not simply about where your ads appear, but in fact, what message they actually carry and how effectively they deliver that message to your target audience. Honestly, by adhering to these tips that I've outlined here, you can easily maximize the potential of content to actually sculpt your online presence and make it what you intend it to be. It's especially vital for businesses in sectors such as the franchise world, real estate, where the trust of your customers can literally make or break your entire success. And it's very important that you stand on this principle and give people what they're looking for. Time is money. On that note, this brings us to the end of today's episode of the Reputronomy podcast. If you're a small business owner, you found these tips helpful, but you could use a hand in implementing them, please pay us a visit by going to Reputronomy.com. We offer comprehensive services that'll help monitor, manage, as well as maintain your online reputation. And it helps you save precious time so you can repurpose and do other more important things for your business on the operations front and have our team handle it for you to bring that consistency you're looking for. I'm Jeffrey, your host for the Reputronomy podcast. Until we meet again, keep aiming for the stars. You're on the right path. Tune in next time. Till then, be safe.